All right.
Welcome, Cdlp family. Welcome to our Monday night coaching call Zoom with our trainers. And John Hoffman is on tonight. Welcome, family. Glad to see everybody's popping in, connecting to their audios, look like. We have some new people on the call. AJ, are you on dinner break or you took 2 hours off?
No, I'm off right now.
Okay. Glad to have you on. Welcome, family. Everybody's quiet as church mouse today. You're giving services right now?
Arjun, you ready for this interview, Arjun?
Hey, I'm ready.
You ready? Is your wife gonna be joining us?
Yeah, are you on?
Well, I did
dinner
call her, so
break?
she's like,
2 hours.
she'll be there if she can make it. No, I'm off right now.
Okay.
Tell your wife she can't do us like that, Arjun.
I will call her.
Hey, tell her it's a team effort. Y'all gotta celebrate together. Y'all gotta interview together.
Yeah, mute everybody.
Huh?
I was just saying, mute. Joetta Bailey, especially.
All right, guys, we are gonna get rolling here. We are. Look like we're ready to go. Yeah, we're ready to go. All right, guys. So thank you for joining us again here on our Monday night Cdlp sales motivation call. This is where we discuss how you should be doing the CDLP space here with LegalShield. Of course, we have this call every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern to 9:30, somewhere between 9:30 and 9:45. It's supposed to be an hour, but we always go a little bit over on that call. So we have this every Monday, and then on Thursdays, Sharanda Ivy, another one of the CDLP certification trainers, has an accountability call. And the difference is on this call, this is train, listen, take notes, find out what's happening in the marketplace, find out what your next step should be, things like that. On Thursdays, that's all action, guys. So if you're ready to start moving in the CDLP space, if you're making calls, if you're walking in, if you're doing enrollments, if you're talking to drivers, if you're talking to owner operators, hot shotters, whatever you got going on, get on that call with the Sharanda Ivy crew and see what they're doing. Work with them, find some accountability partners out there. So those are all things that you can do on that call as well. And she'll let you know how to do that when she speaks here on the call. So for those that are certified and want a refresher, remember this month we have a training going on the third Saturday of this month, which is going to be the 21st of August. And it's going to be $200,000 income earner, Mr. Alan Roman, and $100,000 income earner, Mr. Lamar Reynolds. And Alan Roman writes himself to executive every month. He is the #1 producer in CDLP, and Mr. Lamar Reynolds is trying to catch up on his 6,000th app here in LegalShield. So a celebration to him. Both of them have been in the business over 10 years. I think Lamar's been in over a decade. Alan Roman's been over in over 2 decades in LegalShield. So both ring earners, both have written themselves to platinum executive director before opening up groups in the CDLP space. So I would tell you to get plugged into that training, get registered for that training. Do not wait until the last minute. Get registered as soon as you can for that. And this is what you do afterwards. You get trained. And after you get trained, you get on this call on Monday nights. You get on the accountability call when you're ready to take action. And that is enough for you to move in this space. Everything you need to know is between the certification trainers monthly, this Monday night call, the Thursday accountability call, and working with a field trainer. If you're doing all those things, you'll be able to move forward in the CDLP space. If you missed any of our trainings, if you're just now joining us and you're saying, hey, I've never seen any of the trainings, we've got tons of training for almost 4 years of training, guys, that we have. About a year and a half or 2 years of free conference call trainings where you can go and listen to the audios. And then since September of last year, September of last year of 2020, we've been doing these Zooms. You can find these Zooms on the CDLP Facebook page when you plug into that page, or you can go to YouTube and just go to Training by Dunbar or go to Robert Dunbar, go to that YouTube page, and then look for the playlist for weekly LegalShield CDLP. And you can find all of our recorded Zooms that we have. Every year we do a 2 hour, hour and a half to 2 hour annual Zoom on how to prospect companies from A to Z. Our latest one is the 3rd annual. It's called the 3rd annual Prospecting Trucking Companies Zoom video. You can find that on the Facebook page. You can also find that on the YouTube page. If you have any problems finding that, let us know. At some point, we'll throw it up on the YouTube page. We'll throw it in the chat box, and we'll also throw it in the chat box on the Zoom as well once this interview starts and everything. So again, congratulations, guys, for coming in and joining us. We've got quite a few of the trainers here. I believe that Randy Hooker's on with us. Lamar Reynolds is on with us. We've got Sharanda Ivy on with us. We've got John Hoffman on with us. And Sharon Holiday and Randy Hooker are both field trainers that work primarily in the CDLP space. So if you need to speak to those guys as field trainers about getting field training, understand when it comes to field training, guys, I always ask that field trainer, do they do any CDLP if that's what you're looking to do? So we're gonna go ahead and get the call started here after we do our introduction. So I'm gonna turn it over to Sharanda Ivy first and introduce herself, and she'll pass it on along. And then after that, we're gonna get rolling right into that interview that we promised you guys with Arjun Joshi and his wife, new 50K ring earners. So we're gonna be celebrating them today, talking to them, asking questions today. So if you have any questions, you can throw them in the chat or raise your hand once we've gotten through the interview. And if we have time, we'll get to those questions, particular questions for Mr. Arjun. So Sharanda Ivy?
So who I pass it to?
Who do you pass it to?
Yeah.
All the other trainers like you normally do.
Oh, I was just saying, you want me to pass it there? I mean,
no. I just mentioned them as a field trainer.
Oh, because I normally go to Randy. I was just checking.
Yeah, give it to Randy. He'll give it to Lamar, and then we'll start the interview, and then boom, boom, boom.
Oh, I was just checking. Yeah, I was just checking. So
my
name is Sharanda.
Don't be getting your hair all cute and getting all fancy.
No. I was just asking. I'm just asking. Whatever. But anyway, hey, Arjun wife. This is Sharanda Ivy out of Georgia. I'm the CDLP state trainer for Georgia. Been with LegalShield for 8 years. We've earned the production award for over 1,000 application, business solutions Sapphire Associate. We earned the 2019 Field Trainer of the Year in Special Forces with Small Business. One of the top small biz producers in small business right now, and just love this space. Found my niche here about 3 or 4 years ago. Just became a student of the industry. Just love helping the commercial drivers. Just amazed at the opportunity we have with LegalShield, but the opportunity even smaller, even bigger in this industry. And so just love working with drivers on a day-to-day basis. I remember Lamar used to always say he got up every day and went out to help a driver or went to help a transportation company. And literally that's what I do on a daily basis. So, so if we can help you with field training or anything like that, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We do host a accountability call on Thursday night for those individuals that really like some accountability. We really are putting that focus on those associates these days. And so a lot of those individuals you're seeing on the boards, they're putting up numbers, they're participating in the blitz, they're opening groups. And so you just want to make sure you're accountable in your business, whether you focus on CDL or not, but we do have that platform. And so with that, I pass it over to Randy.
Well, thank you, Sharenda. I have been working with LegalShield for about 12, 14 years. Been in CDL space nearly 2 years as my major. We got 1,000 app production award. We earned the $50,000 ring the first 10 months of 2019, and just love working with the commercial drivers. It is a space that I can educate the driver and they'll buy our membership. And so I love doing that because once they find out what we do, it's just a no-brainer for them to do it. And so enjoy doing that, work it every day. Over to you, Lamar.
Thank you, Mr. Randy. This is Lamar Reynolds out of Houston, Texas. And it's always an honor to be on this call here tonight. And I see AJ there with the boss with him. So we're going to have to behave ourselves tonight.
Absolutely.
But I've been with LegalShield 16 years. And I've been selling the Cdlp membership for about 13 years. I've been a Cdlp trainer for 12. And as Robert indicated earlier, I'm working on my 6,000 membership award. I hit the 5,000 at the beginning of this year. And so I'm working on 6,000 now. And I've earned the 50,000 K ring and the 100,000 K ring by selling in the transportation space. And as Sharenda said, I just get up every day and I sell to drivers and I sell to trucking companies. But I run in the lane of transportation, but I sell all the different products that we have here at LegalShield. And it's really a lot of fun selling in transportation. And I'm part of the Special Forces and the Solution Emerald Elites. And on August 21st, I am participating in a CDLP training with Alan Roman. And so those of you that need a refresher, or if it's your first time, be sure and register for that class. That's going to be 2 weeks off. So there you go. We're going to have a lot of fun here tonight. And I'm going to pass it over to Mr. John Hoffman. Mr. John, if you want to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Lamar. Yes, it's been a while since I've been on this call. Usually I'm on the road back from field training, but I decided to take the day off today because I had an enrollment on Saturday. So it was the first safety meeting that I've come across here in Southern California. So that was good news. It was about 50 drivers and had a lot of good luck with that. And looking forward to working with this field trainer for maybe 2 more groups this week also too. So it's been quite active. One thing that I did share with Robert Dunbar, I sent him some materials that I use, and I came across a sheet that talks about what drivers should do if they encounter an area of social unrest. And if anybody on this call is less than 40 years old, they probably never heard of a driver named Reginald Denny. And that was during the LA riots of Rodney King 29 years ago, almost to the day. And so I've been passing that out and have a lot of positive response using that tool, going out, sharing that with companies. That's why I hope Robert puts on the Facebook page to share with the rest of you. And looking forward to being on the next training call. And we'll want to hear what Arjan has got to say too, because I know he's in Northern California. And I'm looking forward to that training. I'm looking forward to hearing that. Thank you very much.
Can you hear me?
Over to you, Mr. Robert. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. My computer was doing something funny there. Yes, and John, thanks for those materials. I did see those come in, and I will get those on the Facebook page here as well. So appreciate you adding on. Really great that so many trainers just to continue to add things. But Myra sends me things to put on into the file section. Randy puts things into the file section. Sharanda puts things into the file section. And I know I've been seeing lately Mr. Alan Roman shooting those videos and putting them on the Facebook page as well, man. So it's really just a great team effort, and we appreciate you guys all for doing that. So real quickly, been with LegalShield for I think going on 12 years now. Been a trainer on the networking side for 7 years now. I've been a trainer on the CDLP side for about 3.5 years. So we've been really enjoying the business, work all angles of the business. So I do work with my insurance agents. I do work on the regular group side in the CDLP space as well. I'm a 100K ring earner. I also have 250K ring earners on my team. I started my business on the networking side. I do still do networking, but I did that for about the first 6 or 7 years of the business pretty hard, and then moved into the B2B space. So just really love what the company has to offer. Love that you can do residual and override income and direct income from professional sales. Really love the B2B and B2C space, and that you can work it all here within LegalShield. So we're ready now, man, for this interview, man, for this great interview with one of the newest $50,000 ring earners. And for those who doesn't know what that means, we are talking about a ring that you can earn, right? There's 12 rings in this company, and it starts at 50K and goes up to $1 million. And how do you earn that ring? It's not a calendar year, it's within 12 months. So you can earn that ring in 30 days or 365 days, guys, however long it takes you to get there. But it's earning at least $50,000 within 12 months in LegalShield. And we've got some 50K ring earners on the call, field trainers, certification trainers. We've got all the way up on this call, I believe, to maybe 150K ring earners on this call that get on here on a week-to-week basis, guys. And Arjun Joshi and his wife have been on this call since we started it. And they are now at the $50,000 ring. And for those that are saying, hey, look, 50K is not a lot of money, guys. Look, you can call it whatever you want. Whenever you got a full-time job and your significant other has a full-time job, and then you guys create another $50,000 on the side of that, right? So that's 3 incomes coming in the household with 2 people. You figure that math out, right? So they've been able to earn $50,000 on top of both of their full-time jobs doing LegalShield part-time. So for those that are saying that they can't do it, guys, they both have full-time jobs. I'm saying it again, guys, for like the 3rd time. 2 full-time jobs, and they still managed to do $50,000 in LegalShield on the business solution side. So again, for the people that are saying, how do you do B2B when you're at work all day long? Well, he's going to tell you how, because him and his wife have done that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Arjun Joshi so he can tell his story. And then me and the other trainers are going to chime in and ask some questions to get some things out of him. If you've got some questions you want to ask, put them in the chat or raise your hand when the interview is done. If we have some time left, we are going to let some of those questions get asked to Mr. Arjun and his wife. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Arjun and his beautiful wife so you guys can go ahead and start your interview. Let us know some things about you, about your story, and then we'll pose some questions when you guys get ready for us to ask some questions. So, Mr. Arjun?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you again. I want to introduce my lovely wife, Yamini.
Hi, everybody.
And she's my backbone. You know, it's everything else. I do all the presentation stuff, but she's the one who's running on the back end, making sure everything is done. And my story is, I work full time for the state of California. Actually, we work for the state of California full time. I'm in collections. She's in audit. And we both have, we work 8 to 9 hours a day. And LegalShield was, part-time income, something to pay bills with. And I didn't get serious until, 2019, right? 2019. And we really wanted to, change our lifestyle. And so
Necessity.
the necessity, yes. The state job doesn't pay much. And, when you have a mortgage and a son that's ready to go to college, it kind of puts a fire under your rear end, and you want to get extra income, so that you're safe. And so I started getting really serious about things, and I had to choose a lane. And I was going from networking to small business to groups, and I came across CDL, and I took the CDL class. And I started kind of, testing out CDL and tried to call to CDL the trucking companies. But I was basically shooting, just calling randomly to the trucking companies. Didn't know what to say. I pick up the phone. I just tell them about the tickets, and not much of a results, just here and there. And one time I met a person in a networking event. She does factoring. She buys invoices for companies. And she said, AJ, I can probably help you out. And, we can work with each other. And I said, okay. So I gave her some clients, and, I really gave her 2 good clients. And she opened a book of business. So she gave me a list of companies in Yuba City to call. So I started calling companies in Yuba City, and that's about 45 minutes away from here, about an hour away from here. And one of the drivers picked up the phone. Hey, said, "Hey, I need help with certain legal issues with my trucking company. Can you come to my house and talk to me?" And I said, "That's fine." So I drove to Yuba City, and while I was driving to Yuba City, I saw this big yard that was on the highway. They must have about 50 trucks in there. And I passed by because I wanted to get to my appointment. Talked to the guy. He already had LegalShield, so I told him about the membership and everything. And he says, "Well, if I have anything else, I will give you a call." And I said, "Well, what about some referrals?" He says he has a couple of friends, but they already have LegalShield. So he says he doesn't have anything. So, that appointment kind of was not productive. And I was coming home, and I said, I got to do something. So I was passing by, and I passed by the yard again, and I saw those trucks there. Something in my heart said, I got to stop. I got to turn around, and I got to visit that company. So I turned around, and I went to the company, and I walked into the door. This company is huge. I didn't even know how big this company is. I didn't do any research. There was nothing, just blind. It's a cold call, basically. I walked in, and I said, "Hey, I need to talk to somebody in safety, regarding traffic tickets. Who do I talk to?" And they said, "Oh, you need to go to the next building. Safety is right there." So, I walked into this little office. There's like 6 people in there. And I walk in, and I asked this guy, "Hey, I need to talk to safety or the safety director." And he says, "Well, he's sitting right next to me." So I walk up to him, and I said, "Hey, my name is AJ. I'm from LegalShield. I'm helping drivers with their tickets. Do you have any drivers who might have some tickets that I can help?" And he says, "Well, not right now, but I do have LegalShield, but I have the family plan." And I said, "Well, that's great. How about, helping me, helping the drivers?" And he says, "No problem." He says, "Do you have any materials?" So obviously I had the packet. So I gave him the packet. And he says, "Well, we'll be in touch." And that's it. So I walked out, got his card, walked out, came home. A week went by, nothing happened. So I emailed him. I says, "Hey, any luck with the drivers?" He says, he never replied. I called him a couple of times, left a message, nothing. And then I said, "Yeah, I need to go back." So I went back to the company again. This is after a month. I never heard anything back from them. So I went back to them, and I walked in, and I said, "Hey, I've never heard from you. So I just stopped by to see, hey, what's going on." And he says, "Well, there's nothing yet. No drivers is interested. But, if there's something comes up, I'll let you know." And, and that's it. And that was Friday. And Monday, I got on this call, Monday night call. And Mr. Lamar was talking about his script. Now, I'm going to blame everything on Mr. Lamar for getting me this $50,000 ring. Okay. He shared that script where you walk in and talk to the prospect. I printed out that script. The next week, I went out again. And, I walked in, the safety guy knew me. He says, "Hey, AJ, what's up?" And I said, "Well, you got to hear this." So I took my paper out of my pocket. It was folded up. It wasn't even professional. It was just folded up. I opened it up, and I started reading it. By the time I was done, he says, "AJ, you're making sense now." He says, "I have my person who does the tickets, my coordinator. I need you to talk to her." And I said, "Okay, sir, I really need you to introduce her to me, because I don't want to go there and, just introduce myself." So he calls her over and says, "This is AJ from LegalShield. I need you to speak to him I need you to hear from him what he needs to say. It's really important." So she says, "Okay, let's go." We went to the conference room. I did the same thing. I word by word, I read the script to her. And I said, "This is the reason why I'm here." And she said, "Well, you're in the right place. I need your help. Let's get started." From that day on, I got started. she started sending me some drivers, 3 or 4 drivers, maybe in 2 weeks. Still not there. So I came back to this training, Monday night training. Now everything is happening out of the Monday night training. Mr. Lamar was talking about orientation training, or being in the orientation. So guess what I did? I turned around, I went back, and I was, I knew if I talked to the safety guy, he won't let me in the orientation. It was just hard for me to get to the coordinator who does the tickets. So I went straight to the owner. I walked in, I was very confident. I walked in, there was a lady there, and she was the CFO of the company, and I had my LegalShield shirt on, and she's like, "Hey, LegalShield, I need to talk to you. Let's go sit in a conference room." I said, "Okay." So she had a business plan already, and I talked about our ticket program. It says, like, "This makes sense. You need to talk to my husband, who's the CEO. Why don't you come next Monday and I'll set something up for you?" I said, "No problem." So I went next Monday. I sat with him. Folks, I did a research before going, because I'm talking to the CEO. This company was $25 billion worth. They have 800 trucks. They have 1,000 drivers. They are a big deal. They have 4 terminals. And I had to be prepared before I went to talk to him. So I walked in, the CEO came by, very humble guy, walked me in a conference room. The wife and them were sitting there, and they said, "Okay, tell me, what do you have for me?" And I said, "Hey, this is my program." Basically, I went over the program, and he says, "AJ, thanks, but we're too busy. I mean, we can't, I don't want my trainers to be distracted with this." And I said, "No, listen." So I went back to Mr. Lamar's script again. So I picked up where I said, "Hey, if I can get points off of your driver, that means it comes off of your company records if the results are positive." And he looked at me and says, "Yeah, that's right." I said, "Hey, if I can help you with that and lower your scores and keep your scores at the minimum, would that benefit you?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Well, why not do this program? It doesn't cost you anything. The driver's paying for it. It's a good benefit." And he says, "Oh, that makes sense." So he called his safety guy in, and he says, "Whatever AJ needs, he can make sure he gets into the orientation every week." Folks, from that day on, it was on like anything else. And when I told Mr. Lamar, he said, I still remember Mr. Lamar's words. He says, "AJ, you have no idea what you landed, because man, oh man, you're just gonna be getting to executive director right away." And since then, I and my wife, we've been busy. Again, we have 8-hour jobs. So that means I have to schedule everything on a time where I can go do the enrollments. And now here's the deal. They have 3 locations. One is in Yuba City, Phoenix, and LA. They do not have, they have the TV, they have the technology, but they don't have Zoom. So guess what I have to do? I go to Yuba City, I get on my cell phone, I do a conference call with those 2 terminals. They put on a cell phone speaker, and I'm doing the orientation through the cell phone speaker. And I made $50,000 as a ring earner doing presentations over the phone. So, and my wife, we were all new to this. So I started training her. So she started getting the applications, making sure everything is running well. And she, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, she wakes up at 5 a.m, make sure I got breakfast before I leave. So that's my story. Yeah. And last 3 weeks ago, we went to LA, did a live presentation at the LA office, and it's just amazing company. With the company I have, the relationship we have is amazing. Everybody knows me. I'm a good resource for them. So that's a very powerful word. Once you become a resource for a company, they call you for everything. It's just not tickets, but they call you for, "Hey, AJ, I have one of my driver got a ticket at a scale. This is the ticket. How can you help us? Hey, do you know somebody who does marketing, or do you know somebody? Do you know any drivers that you can refer us? Can you, and you become just a resource for them." So the owner and I, have a very good one-on-one relationship. And every time I walk in there and he comes and visits me, says, he jokes with me, says, "Hey, AJ, did I pay off your house yet?" I said, "Not yet, sir. It's still long ways. I need all 800 on the board." So that's my story. Any questions?
Well, I'm gonna go first. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Well, congratulations, AJ. That's amazing. That's awesome. But we want you to share with the team, because a lot of people think it's easy. As trainers, we talk to them all the time. You know, they, you know, and then you have to learn it, right? Like, you have to learn this industry. I mean, people can say it's not different, but it's different. You got to learn it. So I want you to share with them, because that was the clean version, because these people show up every week. So when you got on the accountability call, I want you to share with them how the things you had to do, you know, like we always do. You talked about the script, but I want you to explain to them, say, hey, my presentation was long. Talk about the things you went through to work through all that, because that's what they want to hear here. I mean, that's what they need to hear. I think they need to hear how you said this started 2019.
Yes.
Tell us the journey of the things that you had to change and work on yourself when it came to that script, you know?
Absolutely. You know, and you're right, Ms. Miranda, you know, the tough part, you know, here's the challenging part, you know, I didn't know much about the industry, you know, so I had to learn. You know, you have to be proactive. I had to go on YouTube's and look at the trucking industry, how they work, what are the challenges, you know, what are the driver challenges. So I had to learn the lingo of the industry. I need to kind of dive in and learn about it. You know, what is it that the trucking company does? What are the challenges, you know? And the other thing was the presentation. You know, I did some groups, but it was not Cdlp. You know, it was a regular group. It was legal and identity theft, but Cdlp is a different animal. You know, you really have to know what you're saying to drivers. You know, it changes on a day-to-day. So my presentation was long, like Miss Sharon Holiday says, you know, it put her to sleep almost. When I was on accountability call, Miss Sharon asked me to do the presentation, and I did the presentation. And it was way long. It was too long. It was too boring. It wasn't excitement. It wasn't the message that I was delivering that the driver needed to hear. So when I got on the call, Ms. Sharanda says, you know, your presentation is really bad. I mean, you got to kind of shorten it out and make to the point. It has to be something that the drivers can relate to, you know. And so I had to practice. Not only that, but I, you know, had to practice on my own and really dig deep and find the reason why would they sign up when I do the presentation. Now, just to let you know, when I did my first presentation, out of, I would say 8 drivers, I had 1 driver sign up. You know, that was how it was. And I had to figure out really quickly is why is that the other 7 didn't sign up, you know? So I had to come back to the accountability call, redo the presentation, tighten it up a little bit, and work on it. And I'm still working on my presentation. It you know, it's not really perfect, but I'm still working on it, because when you're doing presentation, and especially I have maybe 4 or 5 drivers live in front of me while I have my phone. I cannot see the drivers on the other end on the phone. So I have to really rely on my presentation and ask them on the phone and make sure they're engaged. So when I did my presentation, I started started becoming personal with the drivers. So when I walk into the enrollment, the first thing I'll say is hi to every driver, find out where they're from, how long they've been driving, you know, what are the things that they have seen on the road. And, you know, and luckily I have my trainers, the one that are doing the orientation, we have a really good relationship. So they really promote me from the get-go, and they say, hey, you guys need this, you know, this is what will save you, you know. And so when I'm in front of them, I do my presentation. I will go through the presentation and make sure that they understand what's covered and what's not covered. The challenging part was that sometimes when I say something in the presentation, they might understand the different way. They sign up and something goes wrong and they call me and says, oh, AJ, the attorney is now asking for a retainer. Well, I have to go back and kind of explain them, why they had to pay the retainer, the 25% discount. So I had to learn that, but I learned that through the accountability call and also through the training.
Awesome. Congratulations. And this is my last thing, because I heard this on our ED call on Friday, that you work part-time, you work part-time and you work this, but you have a staff. And I thought that's amazing. Can you just share a little bit about that, and then I'll pass it over?
Yeah, so I do have my brother-in-law. He's back home. Basically, because we get a lot of applications in, we have to make sure that the driver has the app on, make sure the driver understands, they know their law firm's phone number, and then also all their apps are loaded on their phone properly. And if there is an issue, they can call him and make sure that, he's the one can pick up the phone, because while I'm at work, I cannot pick up my phone. So at least he's picking up the phone, answering the question real quick. So he's supporting us from back home. And basically he's just there to make sure that there's somebody who answers the call. So it's a great help to have, because both of us work full time. And when we get all these applications in, my wife processes them, make sure that he gets the basically the name and phone number so that he can call and make sure that those apps are uploaded to their phone.
Awesome. Congratulations again, AJ.
Thank you.
That's it.
Mr. Randy?
Okay, good stuff. Sharanda, good stuff. Appreciate it. That was a great question too. And I want to see Arjun. I'm gonna leave this to you and your wife. If we can hear from your wife for a minute, just to kind of see what her take is, because I love the whole couples thing. I love that you guys have figured out that y'all need to work together. What you do, what she do, having staff to do what you guys can't do. I think it's amazing that you guys both have full-time jobs. And I don't live in California, but I know some people who do. And you need about 4 or 5 incomes living in California. So congratulations on that. So I'll go ahead and see if your wife wants to say anything or kind of talk about her experience as well.
Absolutely. What are your experiences? She came to enrollment with us, with me, because I said, if I can make it to an enrollment, then she has to step in and do the presentation. So she was kind of psyched about it. So. And not only that, but we have an addition to our team. My son just became an associate this weekend. So he's going to be on the Cdlp training, the next one coming up. So he's helping us out too. Since he's going to college, he needs a part-time income. I said, well, son, you got to sign up for LegalShield. But here, I'll give it to my wife and she'll share some what she feels about it.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say one sentence that necessity is the mother of invention. So it was our necessity that we can do this. We were able to do this. We don't want to quit our state job, because that is our retirement and pension and everything. And we loved that job. And my son, he wants to go to medical college. And we see the expenses coming on, right? So we wanted to develop this part-time business. Plus this COVID thing happened, and I had family who were struggling a lot during this COVID thing. So the idea came in like, if we don't have that much time after doing full-time job. We have only few hours that we can put in LegalShield, but we wanted it to develop. So we asked for help from our family members, and this idea came in that if they come, they get involved and we get some help, we can develop this business and we can pay them. So this was the whole idea. And this COVID thing actually, like, it ruined so many people's life. And this idea came from this thing. Yeah. And just to help other people and to develop our own business. So.
And the other thing is that my family, what it is, they will not just, I can support them because he lost his job. My brother-in-law, he lost his job. He has family to support, and he wouldn't take, as culture, he won't take money from me. He won't, hey, here's some money to support you, and he'll say no. So this is the only way we thought that, hey, if we can help us in our business, in turn, we can help them financially. And that way we can support that family in this pandemic, because he didn't have a job. He still has rent to pay, he has put the food on the table. And so we wanted to make sure that we kind of positively, help our family. And this is the way we thought that, hey, if we can hire them to help us out just to do, menial things, and we can pay them and support their family, I mean, it's a win-win situation. So, thanks to LegalShield that is giving us the opportunity to do that.
No, that's excellent. And see, I love wives, because they always say, hey, this is what's really going on. So when you was telling your story, you was like, something in my head made me stop by that company. I was saying, no, something in your stomach made you stop by that company, right? Because I'm telling you, when you need to have that money, when you need to have those things, and you can get those things through a company like this, it's a big deal. It's definitely a big deal.
Absolutely. And when you have a big company
Lamar,
like,
you got a question? You still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Go ahead, Mr. Lamar.
I have maybe a question and some comments, and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Randy. But AJ, I think it's probably on your second trip in there, and you went back in to see safety, and you found that it just seemed like nothing was taking action, no action happening on the memberships, right?
Right.
I mean, it was just kind of dead. And so and I don't know if you intentionally did it, but you really did some good stuff that I wanted to point out, because you read the script to the safety director, and then you read the script to the lady that does the tickets, and then you read the script to the CEO. And see, it was so important, and I just want to make sure everybody on the screen understands this, that it's really important that everybody in that company sees the vision, sees the opportunity, and they need to hear the script. And then it's just like the CEO, once he heard the script, he says, give AJ, as you call the safety director back, and give him whatever he needs to get this program going. And so then, because you were plugged in on Monday night, you did the new driver orientation. That's how you got the membership starting to come in. So you got to have a vision, ladies and gentlemen, of how you're going to really start making these memberships come in. And so we know that there's 4 different areas within a trucking company that you can sell memberships. That is the safety meeting. And, these companies these days, they may, if they're over the road, they may have 1 big meeting a year, maybe 2. Other companies may have monthly or quarterly. But, and me and Mr. Randy Hooker got together, and we were looking at how to transform a company. And we actually ran the numbers on a company I had and a company he had. And through the new driver orientation class, and I hope everybody's listening, maybe making some notes.
That's one of them nuggets.
Yeah, this is a nugget, because you can transform that company through the new driver orientation class. And Randy and I, as we looked at the numbers, we realized that we were transforming that company at the rate of 30 to 40% the first year. And then I think Randy he was going into like a year and a half, and he was up there close to 60%, 60 or 70%. I'll let him talk about that. But we could see that is absolutely a good way. So the safety meetings, new driver orientation, I sell a lot of memberships in the driver's lounge where drivers are waiting to be dispatched. And then once a year, the open enrollment for the office staff. And I hope everybody got that. There's 4 selling opportunities. And so another thing that I would just like to make a comment on, and I'd like to give everybody 2 words: availability. AJ made himself available. And he became a consultant. I mean, he did everything for this company. So he made himself available. He was available. If not, he made a family member available to do the application, sort out the apps. Here's the 800 number. So the availability, you got to really have that in place. And then as he was doing all of this, credibility. He started to be very credible. And now they look at him as a different person. He is very credible in this area of transportation. And they will refer him out to other companies. And AJ, have they referred you to any companies yet?
Oh, plenty.
Yeah.
Plenty of companies.
And so, once I landed my first big company, it was so awesome. And once they refer you to another company, it was so easy to open the second account, the third account, the fifth account, the 10th account. I mean, it was just unbelievable how easy it was. So once you get your sea legs and you get your first account, you want to do all of these things that we just talked about. And then you'll find that your opportunity will just expand so fast. And so, AJ, I am just so proud of you and your wife and the team you put together to sell this big account. And like I told you before, you will never sell all of the memberships at that company. You'll always, you don't sell everything in 2 years, 5 years. I mean, the new blood coming into that company, as drivers leave, they're taking your membership with them. As drivers are coming in, you're selling new memberships. And maybe not all of them is going to buy in the new driver orientation class. They will buy maybe 6 months later or a year later, or when they get a ticket. So when they get a ticket, they get a 25% off of the attorney fee. So this is really exciting stuff. It's a learning experience for everybody on the screen. And that's why it's so important for the testimonials, that everybody hears the testimony. But Mr. Randy, would you talk about that new driver orientation, of how that, maybe use your company as an example?
Well, once again, AJ and your wife, congratulations. I know that it is thrilling to be one of the ring earners in the company, and it's done through hard work. It's not, that's the only way it is. And one of the things that I recognized is, you've always heard the phrase, the fortune is in, AJ?
Follow up.
The follow up. And you kept following up, and you kept following up. Now, had you been put off the second time, whenever he said, I'll call you, where would you be?
Yeah, nowhere.
That's the huge thing, is the fortune is in the follow up. And if you'll stick and stay, you earn that ring. It took me a while to get mine, but what have you. And on my company, we're about 68% right now. We're not having as much turnover. And so therefore, we're fairly tight. They've got a little over 280 drivers, and we've got about 68% of them on the books. But the thing about it, whenever we started with that company, their score for the out of service on the owner operators that they were hiring was about 47, 48%. It's down now to 19%.
Wow.
Wow.
And the company drivers was about 42, 43%. It is now down to 16%. And this is what I made sure we pointed out to the management, and they're understanding that's why it's happening. So they allow me in that driver orientation meeting, and the trainers, once again, just like you need to get this membership. This will make a difference. And so it's just a wonderful deal to market to that type of situation. John, do you want to speak a little bit? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll speak a little bit. I want AJ not fall in love with this government job too much, because like I was self-employed in my own business too for a while when I started LegalShield, did it full-time or part-time with my full-time job or my own business. And after a while, that balance began to shift. Where I said, well, I don't like my business anymore. I'm going to go with LegalShield full-time. So it's going to come a time, if you keep it up like you've been doing for a while, you're going to realize that working for yourself is a lot more enjoyable after a while, and you're going to probably come to that realization if you keep that success up, sooner than later. You're going to enjoy the ride.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't see any questions inside the chat at this time, but I do have my hand up. A question for you, AJ. Once again, congratulations to you and your beautiful bride sitting right there next to you. And I just have to ask this question. If it wasn't for the CDL, you being plugged in with the CDLP Monday coaching call and our Thursday night accountability Zooms, and I'm grateful that Sharanda asked that question, because it was on my mind to ask you of how hard was it going in and taking the steps to go and visit the trucking companies? What's your scale 1 to 10 of using a field trainer? Because the company is really moving in that direction for assistance. And like Mr. Dunbar shared earlier, you have to ask that field trainer, is he or she, what's their space in the CDLP arena?
I would say 10. I was lucky enough to get access to Mr. Dunbar, ask him a couple of questions, and go in. But if for a brand new person, when you get a big company like that, I would say even to get started with, even if they have 10, 15 drivers, you want to get a field trainer in there with you, because they know what they're doing. And one little mistake, you can lose the whole group. You can really, turn off the people. So you have to understand, you are working between the safety director, the person who does the ticket coordinator, and then you're also working with the CEO, right? So you have to balance those relationships. And if you say one thing out of, if they don't understand you, or you said something else or something wrong, it could jeopardize the whole account. So you once from the get-go, get the field trainer in there, because they know what to do and how to handle. I'll tell you an example. I was doing a presentation. I had in that room, at that time I had 8 people, 8 drivers. And I did my presentation, and everybody was filling out the application. And one driver said this, basically, mind my words. I mean, I apologize. I don't want to offend anybody, but he says, this shit don't work. I don't want this, and guess what happened? Every driver stopped riding. Now, what do you do at that point? How do you turn that thing around? Right? So here's what I did. I said, ladies and gentlemen, he's right. That shit did not work for him. But I know drivers, we have 300 drivers with this company using this program. It is helping them every single day. And I told them a story about a driver where we saved them $1,400. Not only that, but I pulled up a accident on a YouTube video, which had a 7-car pileup. And I said, imagine yourself being in that pile. Wasn't your fault, but you were in that accident. There's a fatality. Now you got to fork out $20,000 just to have an attorney, represent you. What do? Guess what? The guy who didn't want to sign up signed up, and the other people signed up too. So luckily I had that in me because of the training and because of the Thursday night calls, because I was prepared for it. But if it's a new person, it's a first day, you're done. You're underwater, right? So you have to remember that. The other thing is that you got to have your trainer, who's the orientation trainer, on your side all the time. It cost me donuts every week for him, but he loved it. He loved his jelly donut every week, so, we had a great relationship. So he usually said, hey, you guys need to pay attention. The other thing I did was, when somebody said, no, I don't want it, I take that packet in front of everybody. I'll take that packet back and my pen back. And I said, all right, no problem. Here's my number, just in case you get a citation, I'll help you out. And everybody will look at him and says, all right, or the best one I had was a veteran driver was signing up. He has a 30-year veteran driver signing up. And the other guys were not signing up. He was the only one signing up in the crowd. And he looks up and he says, you guys, are not signing up. I have a 30-year experience on the road. I know the value of this. I think you guys need to sign up, because when something does happen on the road, you're on your own.
Yep.
You're on your own. And so they started to sign up. So, having a field trainer is very important. I would recommend 100%, to have a field trainer, even if you have a 5-man group or a 10 or 20. Now this was a work for me. It's still a work for me. This one account is keeping me really busy. Plus I have other accounts. I have almost 30 accounts. There's a small trucking companies, but this is a big one. This, I have to take care of it, and I have to take care of the drivers. I get calls in. So I would say if you get a company, I would get a field trainer in for sure.
Thank you for that. Mr. Dunbar, I see that we do have 2 more questions in the chat, but it's at 9:30, sir. How do you wish to proceed?
You can go ahead. We can ask them.
All righty. The first question, AJ, is do you sell the super Cdlp or just the Cdlp? And that second question after that would be, do you open any companies at all when making phone calls?
Okay, first question. That's the question I asked Mr. Dunbar when I first signed up the big group. I asked, do I do super or basic? He said, go for basic. Go for basic. Don't do super. Go for basic. And I do not give the driver options. Others do. I tell them both programs are together. It's $50.94 for the ticket program. I call it a ticket program, and the legal plan. They buy it together because, I tell them that I would be doing a disservice for them if they don't get the other, because I tell them the value of it because they have family. So I sell them both. Now, I make phone calls, but I've never closed a company over a phone call. I have to visit them at least a couple of times before they sign the dotted line.
AJ, I have one more question. How much do you find?
And AJ, let me ask you a question real quick. Oh, go ahead, Randy. Go ahead, Randy.
How much do you find when you're you're doing your presentation and talk, or just talking with the drivers, how much of what you hear on the Monday night calls and the training calls and stuff just automatically comes through your speech, and you say, I wonder where.
So I'll tell you, Mr. Randy, Monday night is my presentation night. So I get nuggets from the Monday night, and I write them down and I present them on Tuesday morning in my orientation. So anything new I learn, I put it in my presentation. and make sure I delivered it with the drivers. And 90%, I use 90% of material that I learned from the Monday night call, and I put it in my presentation.
Wow.
All right, now that's good stuff, man. I appreciate that. No, thank you guys both for being on and for sharing, because testimonials are a learning experience, and people need to know that all you need to do is go out there and do the things that I said. So I posted in the group chat where to get the Lamar Reynolds script. You talked about that. That's where you got it from. Sharanda, before we close out, if you would like, you could let them know where to find your accountability call at on the Facebook page. I posted things inside the YouTube chat as well, where people were asking questions. Look, congratulations for everything you did. It was great watching the whole journey, watching you start from the beginning, land that group, ask questions, figure your way out with a little bit of help from some of the field trainers, and get in there and earn 50K. It's really great to see you guys do that like live. And we've watched y'all do that week to week and come on and, we hit executive director and we hit it again and again, and we hold on to executive director, get a 50K ring, and all just from going out and working the business from start to finish again, and doing it while you got full-time jobs. Doing it with full-time jobs. That's a really big deal. It's a really big deal. So I encourage you guys to run for the 100K ring, continue doing what you're doing, be an inspiration to everybody who thinks that it can't be done. I mean, we're going to continue to celebrate you guys, because I think it's wonderful. I think it's a huge deal that you guys were able to accomplish that and really just do all of the things that we ask that people do. Use a field trainer, call on the trainers, ask questions, plug into the call, do all those things. And there's people that don't even have a full-time 9-to-5. They don't get on the call. They don't listen to replays. They won't use a field trainer. So again, guys, it's a system that you can work even with a full-time job. So you guys are living proof for anybody on this call who didn't already know that you can literally make $50,000 a year doing this business part-time. Doing this business part-time. And it don't matter how long you've been in. It's when did you start? When did you start taking it serious? From that point to now is when you guys earned that 50K ring. You know what I mean? So yeah, go ahead.
And I started I started in 2008, and then in 2010 I quit. I quit LegalShield. I quit it all. I went out, I quit, and I quit for 2 years. I think 2015.
I came in.
Yeah, she came in 2015.
And then you started in 2018 when you left Alderda.
Alderda, yeah. And so, I came back because we had a legal issue, and I talked about LegalShield, and my wife's like, "Can you make money with this?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Why aren't you doing it?" I said, "I used to do it, but I wasn't that successful with it." And she's like, "No, we need, an income. At least you're going to make $100-200 a month. I mean, that was huge for us. You see, we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with 5 people. Okay. And so we have seen the struggles. And when you go through the journey and you come up to, where when you really, you're struggling, you need to get that $100-200 extra a month is a blessing. And, once we knew that this was a path that we're choosing, so we started focusing on that. I would say if the new people are here, new associates, I recommend, if you're going to stick with CDL, religiously stick to the lane and learn the industry. If you're going to jump around, you won't see the success, because you won't have the, you got to be consistent in this business. I mean, you can sell other products, but if this is going to be your main deal, CDL, learn the business. I mean, you have great trainers, learn it and stick to the lane. And if you're going to go, the other side, the networking side, that's good too. I have one associate out of 60 associate. I have one full-time associate, and she does do CDLP and she does more small business, and she's helping me out as far as my premium goes. She's helping me out. And you also need to recruit. Yeah, CDLP is good, group is good, but recruiting is very important. So also recruit, and I'm recruiting too. I'm recruiting other B2B individuals, and I would recommend, to recruit. But if you're going to do CDL, stick to CDL.
No, absolutely. For those that haven't done the math, ask yourself, what could you have done over the last 12 months with an extra $4,166 in your bank account? What could you have done that you wasn't able to do? That's a lot of extra money on top of what your job is paying you. So, I mean, I'm just saying, it just makes sense, right? Let that sizzle in your spirit.
And
Like Country
please-
Wayne say, right?
And please pay your taxes, okay? You're gonna make all that money. Remember, you got to pay taxes, okay?
hey, that's a whole nother trainer, boy. You're right about that. Yeah, absolutely. You make that money, pay those taxes. So, trainers, anything else before we go? And you got any last words from any of our trainers? Going once? Going twice? All right, fantastic, guys. Remember to get yourself enrolled in the August 21st Cdlp certification training with Lamar Reynolds and Mr. Alan Roman. Guys, that's going to be the bomb, right? So get yourself registered, get plugged into all of our different programs that we got going on to make sure you can be successful. We look forward to seeing you all next week. And if you can all unmute yourself as we close out and give another quick celebration, a quick hand pump, and just celebrate Mr. AJ and his beautiful wife for his 50K ring, part-time. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Excellent.
Yes, great job.
Guys,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Good partnership.
Congratulations. Great nugget.
Awesome.
Awesome, AJ.
All
Thank you,
right,
thank you.
AJ.
Congratulations.
Great taking care of family, AJ.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great job. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great
job, AJ.
Everybody have a fantastic evening. Everybody have a fantastic evening.
Yes.
Everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
Great job, AJ.
Teamwork makes the dream
God
work.
bless you all. Have a great week.
Thank you.
You too. Take care, everyone.
Take care.